Good morning.
Good morning, Martin. Good morning, Space Monkey.
Are you,
Good morning,
sir?
guys.
Mhm.
Let's give everybody maybe 2 more minutes and we'll kick it off. We don't have too much to uh, talk through in terms of what's in the watch list, but we have plenty of time. All right. I thought I saw Jay Bunny, but let's give him a minute. Maybe he'll sign back in and we'll get started here, guys. Okay, so less than 25 minutes to go here till the open. Everybody's having morning than the QQQ. Yeah, nicely. About 1.26% here. Right. J Money, how does the audio sound?
Yeah, I've got you now.
Cool. Yeah, kick it off whenever you want to.
All right. Yeah, hopefully our issues are sorted. But yeah, let's get started. We had quite a bit of movement. The overnight session, SPX actually traded as low as 7,700 in the early morning. We're now trading right at 7712. So big move lower in the overnight. We talked about this into the close, that we had started a failed breakout yesterday. So we broke a balance, multi-day balance to the upside on Thursday, and then today we failed back into that. And when that happens, you basically sell down and rotate all the way back through that prior balance to the other side, which is what we did overnight. So we're sitting at a big spot right here. This is now the range lows from last week. You don't want to fail here where you could see another leg lower. So most of that move has already happened in the overnight. Further downside is definitely harder, especially trying to find a new area to be short after that big move overnight. So as far as gamma positioning, the main things to watch: 7720 above us. In order to see any kind of relief rally, short covering rally, relief bounce, you've got to reclaim 7720. We've already back tested it in the pre-market and rejected. So if we can reclaim 7720 early in the session, you can see a relief rally back towards 7745, and that would be a better spot to try to get short for a lower high on a back test of 7745, likely rejection area there. So watch 7745 to reject as a short entry. And then, of course, if you fail the overnight lows, which are right around 7,700, then we may just see lower direct. So that's the main things I'll be watching. I'll be long if we reclaim 7,720. And then below there, I wouldn't probably be long again until 76.85. So that's the main areas of gamma positioning. Best long, probably above 7720, and the best short, 7745 at the moment.
Yeah, like that 20 is near last week's lows, which I really like uh, for a recapture of that. Also, don't hate the idea of dipping below 7,700 overnight lows and recover for a push towards that 20. But we'll see what gamma kind of how it guides us throughout the day. But um, all right, very good, JM. Thank you. Matei, do you have anything else to add to that? Was just get straight into focus, please.
Yeah, no, nothing to add. I guess just higher time frame, a little bit of a look above and fill on that 7,800 spot big picture. Um, we have some retail earnings coming out this week and Jackson Hole later, so that will be coming up. Something to kind of focus on for the market. Usually we see volumes start to pick up a little bit once we get closer to end of August and September, maybe after Labor Day. Then it's been, being a bit more selective, I would say, really low volume days. So AMD is my focus for the morning. Really, this sector in general. AMD got the catalyst with dilution offering news. So the offering is causing a bit of a gap down. Nothing too substantial. I would say for AMD, 3-4% is kind of mild. I would grade the catalyst somewhere in the neighborhood of like 6 to 7 out of 10. So not like super strong. And RVol is also not really even above 1 here. So a little bit of hesitation there. I would not put this in like a top op category, but it is more or less my focus going into the session for routine trades today. We are testing this trend line on the daily technically. So we've got this big candle from Friday, had a nice digestion day yesterday. We did look above that upper trend line and turn lower, now gapping down to the bottom trend line. So we could see two different trades here. I would be interested in either an opening drive, which I would trade a bit smaller than normal. The structure and RSI are good for an opening drive, but just given the catalyst, the reaction to the catalyst is not anything massive. We've seen these names kind of fade gaps a lot. So we've seen a lot of rotation where SNDK or MU will gap down, then just recover the entire move. So there's a little bit of caution there from my side, which is why if you want to trade the opening drive, it is available technically. So I would just keep size in check and tighter stops. The second trade would be if we trap that trend line and recover and see a big move toward 500. I think we'll set up one of those fading the sellers to the upside, possibly a bigger move back toward 515, maybe over a couple days. So looking for two-way trading in this, and then I'll just keep an eye on MU and SNDK, see if they also set up their gapping down a good bit as well. So going to focus there, and we'll see how the session plays out.
Thank you. All right, a couple of names here. I do like. I think S&P and QQQ they're in play today, so I'll be watching S&P 7720. Alternatively, dip below 700. See what happens there. Uh, other than that, let's get through the list here. GS, so that's Goldman Sachs. Watching this one above 1055, and a break of yesterday's highs 1055 would also be a push out of this very tiny range we've been in here. So it's a little bit of a breakup play here. Alternatively, on this one would be an attempt to push higher, fail, and then a reversal. Um, oil is in play today. It already broke out yesterday out of this bullish pennant on the daily, and we're back above the 20-day. We are now in that gap that we left behind between July 24 and 27. That weekend we gapped down, so there's a nice little gap above there. We attempted to fill that gap a few days after that gap happened, and we failed, and we saw a new low. So now we're on our way back up, and obviously the headline risk is out there, and uh, USO is fairly strong here. I think above 131 is what I'm watching for that gap fill towards 133. Another one, we talked about this one yesterday. It keeps coming back to me. I do, and as I said yesterday, Yesterday was a really good continuation play to watch for, but if that fails, I would watch an inside day. So we're right there. So I'm watching yesterday's highs for an inside day breakout above this 32, 35. So pretty simple inside day breakout. Um, I don't think I'm interested in shorting this just because of the way the daily looks. I'm more interested in finding a long on this one. So above 32.35, playing that inside day breakout, targeting first off 33.30, and then those all-time highs above. And then MU, SNDK intraday setup. So we're going to take a look at the charts here, though. So as you can see, MU to start with is gapping down 5%, and that is giving back yesterday's gains and some. And so we're back to this 960 area, which is very important. It's where the 50-day moving average is. It is the lows from Friday, and it's right there. So I think kind of an intraday setup on these could be 1-2 watch. I think that's the right approach. Alternatively, here, if you want to be a little more aggressive, if it does sweep the PM low, which is around that 955 area, if it sweeps that and turns back above 960, it could be a really nice long. So these have been pretty bullish as of late, and so usually these kind of dips are buyable. They usually set up for a nice little buy. So let's see if this cycle presents us with the same kind of opportunities that it did last time around. These were super bullish. SNDK, similarly, right? It's gapping down once again. It's in that gap that we left behind yesterday, actually. So I actually do like what it's doing here. I think if it could hold this 1650, 1670 zone, it could be a nice little turn around to look for. So we're down 6% SNDK. This one has been really strong. Fundamentally, um, the market liked what was said during the conference last week, and we saw this nice continuation yesterday due to that, but also other things. So your first real dip here. Let's see if they buy it up. I like this one as well. I've had a little bit of a focus on this last few days. And lastly, here costs. So if you, it's a heavy retail week in terms of earnings, and so we'll see if these catch a little bit of well, life, right? These have been pretty dead lately. So costs, um, above 968 could be a good trade. Very defined range that 968, 970 on the daily. If I could just bring up HD, so that's Home Depot. Home Depot is up 3% after earnings. So it had its first earnings and it's gapping up. The reason why I don't love this is it usually is a trickier trade on the day of or the day after earnings, so day one. Um, but it certainly looks strong here. And so, we talk about the offside play when things are red for a red to green move. I think the offside play also applies. Well, I know it applies for the other way around. So for stocks that have history of giving back profits, like HT does, I would watch for that green to red move potentially. Um, just kind of an idea to watch for here. Now, uh, we'll see what happens because we do have a lot of earnings report ahead. So another one would be Walmart. It has earnings in a couple of days, and it's looking really good. So I would say retail is showing a little bit of strength here. XRT, so that's a retail ETF, is up slightly today in a very red tape. So let's see if we see some sort of rotation. You all know me. I very quickly pivot towards these names when they're in strength. I usually lean towards trading McDonald's as part of that. I like HD generally. I also like LOW, so Lowe's. Now that HD earnings out, this one has earnings tomorrow, and it's catching a little bit of a gap up here. So, do we hold this gap up or not? Also, Target is another big one worth watching, which has earnings tomorrow as well. So, there's a lot of stuff going on here. The one thing I would point out to here would be Netflix. It's not part of the watch list, just me kind of chatting here. Netflix holding up really nicely in a very kind of red tape here. Another one would be Apple, right? Apple's holding up slightly green here in a very red tape as well. Apple, Netflix have been a little bit opposite to the markets lately. That 300 on Apple keeps holding, and so I don't hate watching Apple a little more closely today than I did maybe yesterday or the day before. So that's all I have. Cautiously optimistic. Also, I do like when we're gapping below previous week lows for a quicker trade for a scalp and then potentially push higher, especially when it's the bottom of this bounce area range that JM talked about earlier. All right. So Ryan, good morning. What are you watching?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Uh, I'm watching a couple of names. Like the first one is AVGO. AVGO had a news this week, and yesterday was the inside day. So day before yesterday, the news came, and we had an inside day. So we are just capping slightly below that 388 trigger. What I'm watching is 388 to reject and 383 break of 383 is my entry on AVGO. That's the one. Second one, Meta. Actually, Meta had a very big red day yesterday, so very controlled selling. If you look at the intraday sell, so there is no bounce at all from let's say 592 straight 564, 565 area. So I'm watching two trades. I think looks extended for now here. There are two trades I'm watching. Like if we see like a bounce to 565, 566 and reject that, so we'll be looking for a front side short on Meta. But if we reclaim above 566, then hands off on Meta. The third ticker I'm watching is QQQ. QQQ, I think I'm watching two things. We are capping down significantly. The major gap is on semiconductor or tech stock, not on SPX or IWM. The QQQ index is looking weak. What I'm watching is 723 area. If we reclaim, we'll be looking to play the calls and put below 720. So I'm open for both side trades on QQQ. So for example, if I have to trade a calls on above 722 or 723, I would look for a failed breakdown below 720 and reclaim of 723 is my entry. And if we see a trap above 723 and break below 720, we'll be looking to play the shorts on QQQ. Yeah, I think I like your idea, Space Monkey, about the Apple. I think I have seen significant divergence in Apple today. So most of the stocks are turning red, and Apple is holding really nice. So let's see if we set up some intraday setup on Apple. So we'll watch 310 calls on Apple if we reclaim this 307, 308 area on Apple.
Mhm. Yeah, like it's something to watch at least. So, all right,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, that's all right.
sure. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, some good stuff there, Sarang. Thank you. Let's just look at the user requesting SpaceX here. So SpaceX kind of attempted to break above 150 and failed yesterday. So we do have two attempts now over the last few days, us moving above that and failing. So best to hold 140 here. Otherwise, range 140, 150. Not hard to. It's not as it's not that complicated. I think. Keep an eye on 150 for upside. 140 could present us with a downside move. Otherwise, watch for a little bit of a dip buy there, I guess. So 140 is interesting. 150 is even more so. I think that's more of a squeezy level above. Um, uh, yeah, AbbVie. So pharmaceutical potential rotation into these. Oscar was one of the names I was looking at. AbbVie would be another, and then I guess Eli Lilly is something that we could talk about as well after. Yeah, not super familiar with this, like day trading at least. But I do like it for rotational play. If we notice some strength, a couple important levels would be where we bottomed around that 240, and then above here, I would watch 255, 250. Uh, if you could break above 255, I think see a nice little big move to 260, and then eventually there's a nice little gap above to 263 or so. So yeah, ABBV, I would just add a little bit of an alert maybe and watch that 255, 250 zone. McDonald's, yeah, I mean, McDonald's kind of set for a. Usually, we watch this for a continuation move lower. I would say for today, because of retail earnings ahead and uh, we're seeing some strength, keep an eye on that continuation lower, but also watch for that push higher. So obviously, not a nice candle yesterday. So if you break yesterday's lows, I would be inclined to seeing this move to 260. 5-minute warning here. We'll go through a few more names. Marvel. Yeah, I don't know what to do with Marvel here. You know, sent down could be an excellent kind of dip buy opportunity. So if you're one of those traders, then that's fine. Uh, in terms of like support and resistance, this is a pretty important area, this 217 to 220 zone. So I would like this to hold. And if not, I think we could see a push lower. A little bit of, similar to SNDK and MU, like you want to buy the dip kind of thing. Uh, it's been good, like in the last few months, like buying dips in some of these names. MPIS, yeah, I mean, see much here. The pre-market push higher got sold into. Yesterday's attempt to break out got sold into. So for me, it just feels like we have a potential consolidation area here or a pullback. We got pretty extended off, moving higher very quickly over the last few days. So I do think the upside could be seen if above 280. I like that 280 is a previous all-time high, and I like that getting rejected. So that's one alert I would add there, just below 280. And then in terms of the downside, you'd have to break yesterday's lows. We're right there. I wouldn't short NPIS. I would imagine it's more of a potential kind of flag, bull flag here, or range before that next leg higher into the all-time highs. Okay, let's get ourselves in order here, ready for the open. USO already making a nice little push higher above 131. Actually testing 132 here. That one is a little bit, it's showing strength, so we'll watch it. But 131 play kind of hashed already. I think the one play I'm mostly interested in here would be last week lows recovery. Yes, catching a bit of a bid here. Nvidia hands off. SpaceX moving lower. I'm gonna watch SNDK, MU, intraday setups, and then I'm interested in SPX, as I said. Another idea, I guess, that I failed to share would be Reddit continuation play below yesterday's lows. Pretty ugly candle yesterday, breaking lower, and we're seeing that potential continuation move lower there. All right. The 10-year is up nicely, the 30 as well. So fundamentally, things are a little shaky here. VIX up almost 5% today as well, as USO is pushing higher. Apple looks nicely diverging here.
Watching AMD here at the couple.
DX opening up right at 7,700 here, guys. Below 7,700. MU, nice little attempt to recover 965. See if you can test that 7720 here at the open. That would be wonderful. Big push here. Right. It's all about holding 7,700 here for me, and then break above last week's lows on S&P. VIX off the highs here at the open or since the open. SNDK, really nice move higher here. MU as well.
We're gonna get filled on AMD here.
Nice call out
405.
regarding Dell. Oh, sorry, Matei, I didn't hear you. What was that, man?
You're good. Yeah, entered AMD puts.
Okay. Dell looks good here upside. I see a rotation out of semis into software. Those two have been kind of going flip-flop back and forth. A lower testing 550 area. GX sharply lower here towards that 7,700 once again. Keep an eye on Amazon testing yesterday's lows. There's also a big gap below to fill. JM in terms of gamma 76, 75, 85 zone bounce.
Yeah, 75 has grown significantly. I liked 85 before, now I like 75 better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Partial on AMD.
Interesting strength here in Dell. see Dell 500 calls. $8. Tesla, nice little sweep there. I'm liking Dell. USO retrieving here off the highs. Dell breaking above 486 previous all-time high here. So I'm watching that for a 500 move. Tesla really strong here. So our TPS mentioning HD that I was spot on, assuming it's going red. Yes, that's your offside play. Yeah, fantastic offside play if you're watching it. Yep. That's what it does. So really nice fake there. Tesla squeezing here. Watch 342 red to green move.
AMD is trying to trap that daily trend line. It breaks over like 492. Watch 500 calls.
Guys, Dell 500 calls are getting loaded here. The premium is moving higher. Dell not really moving. That 486 was really good pivot. I was trying to get filled and I failed to fill. At $8, they're trading around 10 here. Keep an eye on 490. That's where we're rejecting Dell here. Last week's opening price. 486 backtest here could be something to watch as the market is pushing higher strong. I'm watching Tesla for a scalp. It's hard here because I'm not super bullish unless above 7720. 7700 hold is like a good start. So we're seeing some nice activity in some of these names here. But I might take a shot at Dell here. I'm watching closely. Tesla red to green. Seven to 720 is still rejection area there. So resistance there, obviously. Break above that, and I think we could start pushing higher. Jay, do you think 20 is a good spot to try short, or are you not in love with that idea?
The node is valid. We're making a 20-point move up into it. My only issue is that we've rejected it like 4 times in the overnight, but I mean the node is there and it may be scalpable. I'm just not sure if you can get premiums to pay or how long the move will last. Like with futures, it might be easier, but my thing is that we rejected it several times in the pre-market. So for me, I always prefer to avoid it after that.
Yeah. Good point. I just like the direct move into it and for a scalp for sure. And then
Yeah, the benefit
yeah.
is that it's grown since the open. So it should be fairly strong.
What I'm not loving is that I'm not seeing too much of the positioning below 7,700 kind of grow or increase in strength. It's the opposite for now.
Yeah, actually 7650 has been almost erased.
Right. Yeah, good points, Jay. A sign to sit on hands here for a second at least. I'm still interested in Dell, but S&P I'm just not as excited. Just look through some software. IBM looking pretty strong. Dell looks strong. CRM moving higher. Crowd looking okay, up higher as well. So IGV is catching a bit of a bid. SMH is back below the 50-day. It's down 3%. So we're seeing this rotation one into another, which has happened before. I'm watching this pullback here, Dell. Small size, not too keen on going too big on this. Yeah, I don't want to trade the pullback on Tesla. I don't like when it goes green and it slams back to red.
AMD back to the lows here.
-1 ATR.
75 or one.
I'm watching Apple here as well. Still failing. All right, I just got filled here, 307.50s. Oh, sorry. Just a smaller kind of play here. Is Oscar testing yesterday's highs? Apple Premium's holding great here, but trade Oscar with those premiums. Apple rejecting there totally, so sitting cutting here, so it's only down a bit, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, below 77.05 here, fairly thin down to 85 and 75.
AMD making new lows here. I'm very close to cutting Apple.
Took a partial on AMD there into the lows. 473 is -1. AMD.
Nice acceleration there, AMD.
I'm taking a partial here, maybe an 8.
All right, 75 nodes below 76, 75. Those nodes are becoming more interesting to me. And then we have a 7635 magnet. Pretty not loving upside on SPX here at all for now. Nvidia new lows here.
Yeah, if 7705 becomes resistance here, not a great look. There's not much below us. And really, 7720 is still the pivot. You've got to clear there to feel better about the upside.
This push here fails an Apple. I'm exiting my position. All right, so I'm all out here at entry price, pretty much all out. Apple looks good. It's just the overall market does not, and I don't know if Apple could do it on its own. So I kind of wanted a quicker move. So now that I've sold, I'm gonna enjoy a real nice push here, I guess. A little more defensive to the upside when the market's looking so bad, but Apple looks good in terms of some of these names. Seven 25 now, resistance above. Apple looks good here, guys. Apple looks good. Just flip the 9 on 10. Well, really playing out here, guys. Very nice. See if you can move to 309 here above high day. Yeah, squeezing here. Nice flip on the 9 on 10. Wow. Is there news?
Be news.
That is a candle right there, guys. Market is making a little bit of a turn here. We're still in the same range. US pending home sales came out. Home sales dropped sharply, fell 2.3% in July. Bull is at highs here. Those calls are now trading around 260 from 168 entry. Really phenomenal move here. 50-day at 309, 309.50 is kind of a daily resistance. And 311 possible here. Let's see what it does. All right, 50-day,
Mhm.
309. I don't see a headline. I think it's just mechanical. That's
Really?
why I was watching. Yeah. Vana lower had a negative headline as well.
All out
CDMA
in
versus
the
lower. Goodness, that's your 309.
As I cut the bar trail and we held those lows decently well, but I would consider a roll targeting at 473 ATR. That was a nice rejection there. It was looking like we'd bounce the market.
The Apple idea played out. Uh, it's been very, it's been opposite the market, and it's been over the last few days just kind of doing its thing. So today was the idea with that was that the market uh, would do what it's doing, and then Apple could see it push higher. Rejected the 9 on 10 multiple times, and then finally flipped that 307.59, and then it took off. I thought it was a headline, but it was just the home sales that I think helped the market push higher, and then Apple took off. So keep an eye on it. Maybe it will trend for us. The 50-day is right here. So I think a flip of that 50-day could see 314 on Apple and then 316 above that. It's a very strong move. And there's a little gap above that you could aim for, which is around that 310.70 or so. Apple 309.50 here would confirm 50-day. Let's see if we can close this candle above the 50-day at 309.12. Break of that 309.50, we could see that 311.
Excuse me, making new lows. If you have runners, 477 is a kilo I have. Then also 473 is that +1.
I want to short this, but I didn't get my entry.
Mhm.
I'll wait for the 9 on 10 wherever it is, and I'll short it. I think Nvidia new lows, AMD super weak. Good trade on that. Seeing some better activity below us here now too. So 85.75 would be first target below 700. Surprising they blew through that 481 so quick, but filling the gap nicely.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I got a little trapped on that 5 bar, but I'm also surprised a little bit. It usually likes to bounce with the market there. Guess we got slapped back down, so all good. Runner's paying over 100%.
Go. I'm watching Apple here. I might go for Apple back to the 50 here. See a little bit of a monkey candle here, pushing through 700. I don't, yeah, Apple, very quick turn there. I did not get filled. I wanted that back test.
All right, watch 7705 to reject on a back test in order to make new lows. You don't really want 7705 to reclaim for lower.
I do like that, Jay. I do like 2025 because that's where the 9 on 10 is. I'm just waiting for it to kind of creep down because of this gap down. It's pretty far up. So I'm watching that for sure. Be interesting to see if that big gamma above at 25, Jay, creeps lower into that 05, which I think it's starting to do a bit. So they're stacking it lower and lower, which could push us lower in a bit of a trend day. We've seen that to the upside, where they push gamma up and up and up throughout the day.
Yep.
All right, stepping away for a bit.
Mhm. We're still in this range here, and it's hard to say where this is going, but just thinking big picture, S&P last week low is at that 7720. So you'd need a recovery of that in order to push higher. Otherwise, that could be a nice little short 2025 there. AMD backtest of 480.50, 481. I might be shorting 9 on 10 here. Get there. Watching some 700s. Kind of undecided yet, but I'm keeping an eye on that. Seven hundreds just ripped very quickly. AMD reacting to that 480.150. All right, just move, test that 1720. Come on. KQQ 9 on 10 test here, PM lows. IWM same. No. Not getting what we want here, I guess. Patient. We've been trading in a 10-point range since the open. Apple's holding the 50-day here, holding it really nicely in the bull flag. So 307.50s are holding up really nicely. SNDK barely holding on to the 50-day here. Well, really nice long there off the 50. Once again, see if we can make a new high day. Above 25, SPX could see 77, 55, 60. Apple new high day. Filling that gap above. Apple now fill the gap. Above 312 here, could see 314, 316. Really nice play. AMD now riding 9 of 10, so kind of rejecting it there. And you want to see a new low a day if you're short. Very weak though compared to the market. Nvidia rejecting that attempt to push higher. So let's see if that has any effect on the overall market. I'm watching 7700s here. We just back tested the 9 on 10. It just feels a little bit like it's gonna flip though. Very tight range. So it's really hard to get a read on this. Very, very tight range, 12 points, and then 25 remains very strong resistance above, which I rather short than where we are right now. You just mentioned LOW, lows. Had to look at HD, and HD is back green. That's an insane turn. They sold HD at the open. They pushed it down to 331. And we're now back to 341. We open up around 346. So that's pretty insane. Target looking pretty strong, up almost 2% today. Walmart up 1.36. Really nice bounce here back to the highs. We open. Netflix making new highs here. So we're still in that swing, which is fantastic. We'll keep holding that. It's just showing some real nice relative strength. A little similar to Apple, right? We're right to this breakout zone. So Netflix here could be a really good one to watch. Okay. Yeah, Stock 51 is mentioning pharma. XLV looking pretty good. Eli Lilly, obviously one of the stocks that are pushing higher. ABBV was a name that we talked about pre-market, also pushing higher nicely. Nice little hold of that 250, which I think we talked about. Oscar didn't really play out yet. It's a double inside day here so far, which is even better for tomorrow. I cannot hear J Money at all.
I've got very little to add.
Oh, there you go. There you are. Were you talking earlier? Because I couldn't hear you.
Nope.
Okay.
Made an espresso.
Oh,
Trying to wait out the
good.
chop.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's such a tricky range. For me personally, like I would have really liked that push towards 2025, maybe 17, last week's lows. We're getting now is a nice little 9 on 10 back test and a push lower back into the middle of this kind of morning range. So just chop, chop, chop. Not a whole lot to do here. That NVIDIA rejection to flip that 9 on 10 projected this push lower here in SPX a little bit. So NVIDIA back towards the PM lows. IWM putting in a new low. QQQ pushing lower here as well. So just, I guess overall, it's weak price action. It might be a day where we can actually trade the 7,700 break for a move towards 75. I'd rather play the pop, like sell into the pop. So just sitting on hands here watching. Mentioned Netflix. That one is playing out really nicely. Netflix is attempting to break above this weekly high around 78. So what is it? 78, 73. Could do that. I think we could see a pretty sweet move towards that 80 and change. Maybe 80.12 or so. TSU What is the question? QQQ weak, not able to hold 718. What do you think? Yeah, I think that 719.40 rejection for me was a really good short. It attempted to flip that 9 on 10, the 9 moving average on the 10-minute chart. It attempted to flip it, but then they slammed it very quickly back lower. They did the same with Nvidia. So you're seeing QQQ now kind of unraveling here to the downside. I'll post the chart for you so you can see what I'm talking about. It's the yellow dotted line on my charts. For everybody on the stream, Mate's sharing his screen, so you can't see what I'm talking about, but I'm posting the chart in the chat. So 719, 37, 36 area with rejecting Q. So pretty weak here. Just overall weak price action, but